Heck of a week here on First Take, but it hasn't been such a good week for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was officially ruled out of tonight's matchup with the Brooklyn Nets, the Bucks' final home game of the season. He had made a request to play one final time, potentially, in Milwaukee with his brothers, Thanasis and Alex. That is not going to be granted for the rest of this season. Who knows about the future? But David, the way this has all been handled, I know you have an interesting take about the Bucks versus Giannis saga.
I'm glad Perk is here to witness this because Giannis and the Bucks front office are suffering from a chronic case of failing to stand on business. And as a result, they have wasted 365 days of all of our lives because this should have been handled last summer when Giannis wanted to leave Milwaukee but did not want to look like the bad guy. And Milwaukee should have moved on from Giannis to get as many picks as they could, but did not want to look like the bad organization. They didn't want to look like bad guys. They didn't want their fans to be miserable. They didn't want to hate each other. A year later, both of them look like the bad guys. Their fans hate them, and they hate each other. And Giannis, midway through the season, is putting double thumbs down to his own fans. They are not winning any games. Giannis is injured. His stock has fallen a little bit in terms of their return for what they can get from him. And everybody in the Milwaukee metropolitan area is miserable and more miserable than they would have been last year if everybody had made peace, moved on from each other, let Giannis go try to win a championship, let Milwaukee get as many draft picks as they could, build to the future, start building his statue, start hanging his jersey, and leave peacefully. Instead, this has become an ugly divorce because they wanted to stay together for the kids, and the kids being the fans, and everybody's miserable.
That's cute. No, look, it's not an easy decision to make to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I won't say that Giannis messed it up. I might say the New York Knicks messed it up by trading all their draft capital for Mikal Bridges because had they held on to it, had they not gotten a little too thirsty, they would have had the draft capital that the Milwaukee Bucks would have wanted. Giannis would be in New York, and this would be a totally different ballgame. But I'm with you. This is, like I said before, I love R&B breakup songs. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. That's all.
Perk, you got a little Gladys Knight in you too?
I got a lot. Gladys Knight, Isley Brothers, but listen, here's the thing. This relationship has run its course. I agree with Vinny and David when you talk about holding on too long. This should have happened before this season. The trade should have happened. They should have parted ways. It should have happened at the trade deadline. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that nobody wanted to be the bad guy. We get that part of it. Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he would have came out publicly and said he wanted out, he wouldn't have looked like the bad guy. You want to know why? Because he has done everything and more for that organization in the city of Milwaukee, on and off the floor. When you talk about delivering the championship, check. Winning the MVP, check. Defensive Player of the Year, check. Finals MVP, check. And then look at the growth of the city. See, I put Giannis in the same conversation with guys like LeBron and Steph when you talk about powerful over popular. Powerful players move the needle from an economic standpoint. They got a new arena. We see new condos, new restaurants, all that because of Giannis Antetokounmpo and the winning and what he's brought to the city of Milwaukee. It has to happen. I believe this relationship is over. I do not want to go into next season talking about Giannis and the Bucks. It has to be over. Now, I'm going to say this, last thing. You know who's the biggest winner? Who's the biggest winner in all of this? Is the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks. That's why they're not under any pressure, in my opinion, this postseason, because they're really playing with house money. They know that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to be in New York. So now you take this team that is a championship caliber team. Hold on, feel me out. That is a championship caliber team, and you go make a run and try to go win the NBA championship. Guess what? If you fall short, you got enough pieces to go trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo and run it back for the next 2-3 years with him and Jalen Brunson leading the charge.
Perk, my brother, I was with you. I was all the way there with you, and then you just happened to just go a little left. I don't think the Knicks are playing with house money. I know they fired their coach last year because they didn't get to the finals. Karl Towns is under an amount of pressure because they didn't get to the finals and have to get to the finals this year. Same for Mikal Bridges. Like, you can't wait on Giannis Antetokounmpo with the health issues that he's had since winning that title. He's had years where he hasn't played in the playoffs. He's had years like this year where he's battling calf injuries. So to assume that he's going to be a premium health by you waiting a year, or to assume that the Bucks are going to hand him over to you just because you're the Knicks, is a fool's errand, because it's a lot of other teams that have draft picks and assets that they could trade him to. If you're the Knicks, you better focus on handling your own damn business.
Yeah. All right, let's leave it here because this is a saga is putting a bow on it now. But
Warriors Nation News. Dub Nation, let me ask you something that should make every Warriors fan stop for a second. If Stephen Curry is sitting out against the Lakers, the Warriors already know they're headed for the 10 seed, and the team is still choosing chemistry over chaos with only days left. Is that panic, or is that a veteran team making one final calculated move before survival mode begins? Because that is exactly where Golden State is right now, and whether you love it or hate it, the message is crystal clear. The Warriors are no longer managing for comfort. They are managing for one-game life-or-death basketball. Officially, Curry has been listed out for injury management on that front end of the back-to-back, and the plan has centered on having him available with Kristaps Porzingis for the next game so they can build much-needed reps together before the play-in tournament begins on April 14. The Warriors' own postseason preview has already framed this stretch as the final push, and the NBA's schedule confirms the play-in window is right around the corner. And hold on, that part matters more than people realize, because Steph and Porzingis are still basically strangers in live game rhythm. That is the weird reality of this season. Golden State officially acquired Porzingis on February 5th, a massive front office swing that told the whole league the Warriors were still thinking big, still trying to raise the ceiling, still refusing to drift quietly into the sunset. But since then, health and timing have made the fit a puzzle. Warriors coverage has repeatedly emphasized that the team has needed on-court reps, not just ideas, and that's why this late-season management is so important. Yeah, it is frustrating to lose a Steph-LeBron game, especially for the fans and the entertainment value. But from the Warriors' view, one nationally juicy April night matters less than having Steph and Porzingis function together when the season is literally on the line. Now let's talk about Steph, because this whole thing begins and ends with number 30. The reason Dub Nation can still believe it all is because his return did not look like a soft comeback. It looked like a threat. NBA.com reported that Curry returned after nearly 2 months out with the right knee injury, and in that first game back against Houston, came off the bench for the first time in 14 years and still looked like himself. Warriors.com and Reuters both backed up the bigger point over the following games. He has already shown that even on managed minutes, he can swing emotion, spacing, and game flow in a heartbeat. That is the scary part for everybody else. The Warriors do not need regular season perfection right now. They need Steph healthy enough to bend a one-game environment, and he has already shown he can still do exactly that. And if you needed another reminder that this team still has some bite left, just look at that chaotic win over Sacramento. Golden State beat the Kings 110-105, snapped a 4-game losing streak, and got big contributions from DeAnthony Melton, Brandon Podziemski, and Charles Bassey, while Curry delivered the kind of late-game gravity that turns messy possessions into winning moments. Reuters reported Steph hit the tying 3 and then created the go-ahead sequence by chasing his own miss and finding Podziemski. That is not just skill, that is survival instinct. That is championship DNA showing up in ugly clothes. The Warriors are not pretty right now. They are not smooth, But there is a huge difference between unstable and finished, and Golden State is not finished. Of course, part of the reason that Kings game exploded into a national story was the bizarre late intentional foul by Sacramento, which even triggered an NBA review before the league said it viewed the play as a coaching mistake rather than a tanking plot. Still, Draymond Green's frustration after that game hit a nerve, because from the Warriors' perspective, they are out here fighting for every breath, while some other teams look trapped between competition and lottery math. That matters emotionally. It sharpens a veteran locker room. It creates edge. And edge is exactly what this version of the Warriors needs, because let's be honest, they are not going to out-talent everybody in the West right now. What they can do is out-execute in moments, out-experience in moments, and make the game feel uncomfortable once Steph is on the floor and Draymond is barking the whole building awake.
Now here is the other reason I still lean favorable to the Warriors. The supporting cast has finally started to show signs of life at the right time. Podziemski has had big scoring stretches. Melton has given them needed downhill pressure and perimeter defense. And Porzingis, when available, adds size and spacing that Golden State simply has not had consistently around Steph in recent years. The Warriors' own coverage has pointed to the value of finding combinations that create balance around Curry, and that is the real mission now. Not to become the old dynasty version overnight, not to magically erase injuries, just to become coherent enough around Steph that every defender has one more thing to worry about, and every postseason possession does not feel like a rescue mission. Yeah, that is a real pathway. Maybe not a comfortable one, maybe not a glamorous one, but a real one. And yes, the injury picture is still rough. The latest NBA injury report listed Curry out for knee injury management, Porzingis out with illness management and right knee soreness, plus several other Warriors sidelined. That is the reality. This is not some fully loaded team marching into April with all engines firing. This is a team patching itself together in real time and trying to time its healthiest punch for the exact moment the postseason format becomes merciless. But sometimes that is enough. Sometimes a veteran team does not need 3 clean months. Sometimes it just needs one healthy enough star, one matchup problem, one emotional jolt, and 1 or 2 role players playing above expectation at the right time. And the Warriors still have access to that version of reality. So here's my conclusion, Dub Nation, and I mean it. I am favorable to the Warriors all the way. Not because the standings are kind, not because the injuries disappeared, not because the 10 seed is some great place to live. No. I'm favorable because Golden State is making the kind of cold, calculated decisions that veteran teams make when they understand the regular season is basically over and the real test is about to begin. Resting Steph tonight is not surrender. It is a bet that tomorrow matters more. It is a bet on chemistry, on timing, on one final chance to get Curry and Porzingis on the same page before the lights get brutal. And once Steph Curry is in a one-game scenario with the season on the line, good luck telling me that team is harmless. Now I need your take, Dub Nation. Do you agree with the Warriors resting Steph against the Lakers so he can build reps with Porzingis for the play-in, or would you have pushed for the win no matter what? Drop your opinion in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to Warriors Nation News.